Blog Talk Radio. Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard. Hi everyone, it's Natalie Jean, Natalie Jean, and this is Chatting with Nat. Today we have the honor of having singer-songwriter Raine Stern. Raine Stern is a young queer singer-songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist, originally from Wisconsin. When Raine first picked up a guitar at 11 years old, she found a home for the stories she'd always felt the need to tell. Raine's timeless pop sound paired with guitar skills beyond her years have earned her comparisons to music icons such as Prince, Joan Jett, and Jeff Buckley. Whether writing, producing, or performing live, her talent is met with an undeniable sense of purpose. Her mission is to inspire devotion to the very causes that drive her, including environmentalism, equality, and self-love. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello.
Hi, Raine. How are you?
Hi, how are you guys? I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm okay. I'm still alive. In this crazy world that we're living in, it's definitely different.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's a weird whirlwind of like not only living in the technology age, but then also like post-pandemic, and a lot of people have had wildly different experiences with the pandemic. Like some people, that was like the beginning to their success story. For some people, it was like the beginning to like them kind of crumbling into pieces and trying to rebuild. So it's just like so interesting looking at where everybody's at right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. So one of the questions I like to ask is this. I give a little background story before I ask it. Obviously, we know the past 3 years have been hell. Between politics, George Floyd, the pandemic, now monkeypox, a new variant coming out. Then somebody said there was a first an incident of polio. That's making a comeback, hopefully not. And Roe versus Wade and equality and all the racism, all kinds of crap going on in the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's seriously just been crazy. But with the pandemic itself, obviously we know that that was just a bad situation. People died. People lost limbs. There's long-term effects of COVID. I have it. I've had COVID twice, even been vaccinated, boosted, waxed, and all kinds of crap. But so it's been bad, but there have been pros, obviously, during this time because we were in a lockdown and people had time to self-reflect, self-evaluate, decide what they want to be, how they want to be perceived as people in whatever business that they're doing. For example, there are people that, spent more time with their families. I saw a lot of people walking outside with their families. There were people that decided to cut back on work because they realized they weren't spending enough time with families. There were lots of articles about people quitting their jobs because they realized, they have to make a living, but they want to be happy doing it. Some people made a career shift. They changed entirely because it was like, not doing this anymore. Climate change, my God. The animals were out in the trees. They were excited. Pollution levels went down. They were hoping we wouldn't come back, but we came back. And then, people decided, especially artists, decided to revamp their careers. Some decided to rebrand. Some decided not to do music anymore. Some created singles, tracks, EPs, albums. They did their thing, and then some people are just like, I just have to change this whole branding thing of who I am and what I am. Some people decided to be more effective player. So they decide, people really, there was a lot of self-introspection. So during this time, Did you take time to think about anything in regards to your career? Is there anything that you wanted to change? What did you think about?
I don't think since I really developed my frontal lobe that I've ever not been thinking, if not overthinking. So I've been spending either during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, whatever, thinking for sure about all of this. But the pandemic was a very interesting time for me because it sort of got really interrupted by The Voice, because about a few months into the pandemic, I had started a YouTube channel called Quarantunes, in which I was essentially having people pay me by commission to do, covers of certain songs. I was like, hey guys, my whole gigging life and things like that have shut down. So, why don't you guys request me things, request me certain songs. I will do my best to do whatever it is. So, I did anywhere from like a Grease cover to like prog rock and metal music. Like I did all of it. And it actually worked. And so people would, pay me a certain amount, and according to the amount that they would pay me, I would, put in an equal amount of effort. Anyways, right. From there, I ended up getting scouted by a talent scout who works for NBC.
Oh, wow.
And they asked me to go on The Voice. And frankly, I never really took shows like that seriously. Didn't really feel it was very like on brand for me as an artist who's like very original. I'm a young woman who like shreds guitar. You don't really see that kind of energy on the show, but that's exactly why they wanted me on the show. And it helped that I kind of ticked their queer box at the same time too, and so they really vied for me, and I decided, it doesn't hurt to do an audition. It could possibly hurt to say yes to going through with it, but it doesn't hurt to see a little sneak peek behind the curtain and see what it's like. So I auditioned, but auditions were happening remotely.
Right.
Anyways, they give me a call back a couple months later, and they're like, we love you, producers love you, like, you're in, what's your airport, basically. And then at this point, I was like, all right, let me think. And they, do a psych eval, they send you a contract, they give you a week to look at it. I did, and on the last day that I had, which was a Monday, I sent them an email, and I said, you know what, upon, like, really taking the time to digest this contract, which is essentially one big, like, F you after another, I was like, no thanks. I think I'm gonna like stick to my own guns and just kind of focus on myself. And the next day, the casting director calls me, Michelle McNulty, and is like, Raine, like, what happened? We really thought you were interested, and and I was like, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I am interested. I'm not particularly excited about it though. And semantics, I guess, but I've always been a very like literal person. So and anyways, long story short is she promises me a whole bunch of things. They convince me to go on the show. My friends and my family really want me to go. So I go on the show, and I completely like shock everybody there, because they're just like, what is this person? Like, who is this? She's really different. We can't quite put our finger on it. The closest person John Legend can think to compare me to is Prince, and yet Prince and I are very different people, very different artists. Prince is incredible. I'm not like by any means like saying, oh no, don't compare me to Prince. But at the same time, like, that's like, people are so grasping at straws when they do that.
Right.
Because I don't like write music like him. I think all that people could think of was like maybe talent. Like they were like, you play guitar and sing and you're like really commanding on stage, and so they're like, maybe this guy. Anyways, yeah, I mean, it just ended up not being a very fruitful experience for me. All of the things that they promised me didn't come true, which was, you know, kind of what my gut was telling me. And the worst part of it all was that they had a no competition agreement, which meant that I was not allowed to post content, music-related content of me singing or playing or my music or my songs or whatever for the entire time that I was filming with them and that the show was airing. So that is the latter half of 2020 and, like, the beginning half of 2021. And so that was also, like, the prime time for that kind of self-reflection time, that time with family, that time for rebranding, that focusing time on social media. In the first couple months that I decided to do this quarantine series, I went from no subscribers on YouTube to, like, over 16,000.
Oh, cool.
And then, which is great. But then the airing of The Voice only got me about like 7,000 followers on Instagram, and that's pretty much it. And that's where that caps. That's where like the benefit of me being on The Voice ends. All of the harm of me being on The Voice was all of this wasted time and all of this control over what I was allowed to do with that time. And the latter half of 2020 and the beginning half of 2021 were actually like the most prime time to engage with social media, because that is when the surge of internet usage was at its highest. And also would have been an incredible time for me to learn how to, you know, make money as an independent artist online, because frankly, like, being able to engage your time online on YouTube, on Patreon, on TikTok, on all these different platforms and make the most of them and figure out how to be a business and an entrepreneur in the age of the internet is absolutely essential. And so I kind of feel as though, and so all of that time went by, and then I kind of entered into this phase of, like, I was planning on moving out to LA during the exact same time the pandemic shutdown happened. So obviously, you know, moving across the country wasn't going to be a smart decision.
Right.
And then I'm sitting here grappling with, do I do that now that I'm out of this contract, I'm off the show? And I really wanted to. I really wanted to get out of Wisconsin. All of this to say, I've learned so much. And the biggest thing that I've learned is that you really should trust yourself, not let too many cooks in your kitchen, and actually take that time to get to know and to learn all of these different strengths, because at the end of the day, no matter who says that they're running to help you or that they're coming, that they're going to promise you to do the thing or X, Y, and Z or help you or promise you money or this or that, the one person that you can count on is you. So with the internet at your disposal, and if you have all of these incredible skills that people are, you know, time and time again complimenting you on, or even going as far as to kiss your ass over, well, then take that time and go, well, if I've got all these skills, then maybe I should actually use them and figure out how to be like a young female entrepreneur badass and take this all the way. And so now, in the middle of 2022, I am starting that journey a whole 2 years later, and it feels, to be honest, like I'm not by any means giving up or trying to be negative, but just being very realistic, because I am just a super blunt person. It feels like I got like robbed of my early 20s.
It's interesting
by NBC.
It's interesting that you talk about this. One, and sorry, I never knew that you were on the, you know, when people ask to be on the podcast, you know, I listen to their music, blah, blah. I don't really research it because I'm just like, you know, independent is independent. I could care a superstar or just starting. So one, congratulations for getting on the show, but I'm sorry that you had the experience. Now, what I find interesting is this. So a couple years back, I met this girl. I mean, this is maybe 7 years ago. That's this woman or young lady that had been on American Idol, and she was talking about how horrible it was. Because of the contract, the agreement. So basically, The Voice, American Idol, I don't know how America's Got Talent agreements. They all suck basically because they take a lot away from artists, and they want you to be something that you're not. And so with her, she had to fight them. She made the top 12, I believe. She get out of the contract, and it cost her family like thousands of dollars. And now you don't hear anything from her, because I was talking to somebody that knew her, and she said it's almost like she fell off the face of the earth, that because that was so draining. And you to the other contestants that get on some of these shows, they end up, so even some of the winners end up, getting lawyers and wanting the contract because the contract is so constraining, and they just want to take everything out of you. And I think that's so awful what you're talking about that, but it's a learning experience, something that you'll never do again. But I'm surprised that by being on the show, when you said that, you capped at 7,000 on Instagram and you have 16,000 based on what you're doing now on YouTube, I'm surprised that you didn't have more than that. But then when you go on to explain about, learning more about, doing things online, which I've had to learn, that's all I did. I was on webinars. I was taking TikTok University. I was doing a bunch of things so I could learn more about how to hone my own craft, because I think that's very important. I tell people that all the time. And just like you, I started to create this website. I plan to do this promotion consulting type service for people that just don't know what they need to do, because I've learned so much, and I have but the internet is vast, and there's a lot of things that people can do for free. There's a lot of different tools that people can use. Like, some people don't even know that Facebook has Reels now, and that Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels are totally separate. And so, and I try to tell people, you have to just be yourself, because with TikTok, it's all about authenticity. It is all about authenticity. And just like you, person that, I speak my truth. I don't have time for people, and if they don't like it, that's tough for them. I don't have time for that crap. But kudos for you, for seeing that the one situation wasn't the right situation for you, but you live and you learn. You'll never do that again, and then you move on from that. But I'm sorry that it was a horrible experience for you. Now, go ahead. You were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say that it's true. Like, if hindsight 2020, we all have times in our life where we have regrets, and then some of us learn to accept those situations, and we go, I think I actually needed that experience. And some of us just go, straight up, I just wish that hadn't happened. Just like if I could have a do-over.
Right.
And for me, this is one of those. This is just like a do-over. Like, if I could just go back and tell myself, no, listen to your gut. Like, your gut is your gut for a reason. Trust it. Like, your gut has given you all of these good, everything that's good that has ever happened to me or for me has been because I listened to that, and I listened to my heart, and I did what I wanted to do.
Right.
And most of the time, when things go haywire, it's because I'm not really thinking with my heart, but I'm thinking with anxiety and almost a sense of desperation or some type of pressure, external pressure. And so my advice to people would just be to, if you do know who you are and you know what you want, then look no further,
Amen to that. Amen to that. Now, what was it about the music industry that enticed you? Did you just come out of the womb and you're just like, music is me? Or was it something that you heard, you saw, or it's just innate? It's just something like you were like, Raine and music have to be together.
Yeah, I would say that it's an innate thing for me. I picked up guitar in middle school, and instantaneously started writing songs. It wasn't like nobody told me to. Nobody like pushed me into lessons. Nothing like that. I just really wanted to. And then I started writing music, and the first song I ever wrote was like about this chore list that I had received when coming home, and then instead of doing the chore list, I went into my room and wrote this very witty and kind of sassy rebellion song, and called Spectacular Cleaning Machine, and how I was in fact not one of those things but a human being. So but yeah, it was very funny, and it surprised my parents, and they were like, wait, she actually has something like this, has rhyme schemes, this is like poetic, it's clever, it's got like a rise and fall of a story, it's got an arc, like, and they realized that in that moment that I just had a knack for storytelling and like creativity, and then it just never stopped. Just really nobody said yes to me, just nobody ever said no to me either. And so I just did what I wanted to do, and then that turned into me being a teenager and me playing in local blues bars with guys 2 or 3 times my age, and everybody being like, who's this kid? And then me getting written up in local newspapers as like blues guitar prodigy. But what was funny about that is that I really didn't want to be a blues guitarist and be known for that. I was a songwriter, and those blues bars were about the only outlet that I had or that I knew about to go and play music with other people. But the truth is I'm not like a blues songwriter. I love blues music. I grew up listening to blues music. I grew up listening to all kinds of music. And that's the other thing, too, is that when it comes to genre, somebody asks me, like, what genre I am, I just tell them real, honest, timeless, because the truth is that, like, there's a lot of integrity in my music. The truth is that I think that for me personally, for other people it can be different, but I don't really understand it for other people, but that's fine because I'm not other people. But for me, sitting down and intentionally writing a song in a specific genre or specific key feels pointless to me. And I've never done it. I don't see myself doing it on purpose unless I'm writing a song as an assignment for somebody else and I'm trying to achieve these different benchmarks. But to me, the whole point of making art is to convey something, to convey a message, to convey a story, to convey a feeling. And so for me, whatever that is should be kind of an intuitive process. And if you're walking down the street and you're heartbroken about something and a melody comes to you and you start singing about what's going on in your life, then I think that what happens is the music and everything else just kind of becomes the backbone and the family and the limbs and the whole body for this story to be told. And I think that's the best way that is why when a lot of people listen to my music, they're like, what is this? It's like everything all at once, but it doesn't feel like it's too many things, you know? It's just like, it's pop, it's rock, it's jazz, it's indie, it's all of these different things, and I don't know what to call it. And I'm like, that's fine. The song is I'm Not Them, or the song is, you know, So Precarious, or the song is this, the story is this. That is all that matters to me as an artist. So yeah, my long answer is that music has been something I feel like born to do.
Amen. I like it. Now, this is the obvious answer to my question. I know what the answer is, but you can still answer it. Is how important is it for you to be authentic in your music and in your life?
Absolutely crucial. I think more than ever, what we need for so many reasons is the truth. because it is impossible, I think, to make healthy decisions as a society, as a whole, when people don't know who they are, and it's really hard to know who you are if you're looking at yourself through a lens of comparison or self-hate or whatever.
Right.
And so you have to learn to, like, love the creature that you are, and then as a reflection, you look at the world around you and you go, oh, well, I'm not the healthiest I could be. I want to breathe cleaner air into my cardiovascular system. And then you go, oh, well, I can't breathe cleaner air into my cardiovascular system because air around me is super polluted and not good. Oh, well, what is it that I am doing and everybody else is doing to pollute that air? Oh,
exactly.
Shit, okay, so then how do we change that? And so once you start, like, loving yourself, knowing yourself, knowing your truth, and then caring about it, that actually gives you the real chance now to start making decisions, going to the ballot, going to your friends, having conversations, purchasing things with your dollar, voting with what you choose to put your time and attention on the internet or whatever it is.
Right.
And then you start to realize, then you start to actually have a chance at immersing truth into the decision-making and longevity and health and love and respect into the decision-making that goes into building our world as a whole. Yeah. And while that sounds like some utopic, maybe out-of-touch crazy thing, I think it's actually very, like, a logical, rational, kind of fundamental sort of methodology of thinking that I'm sort of constructing my brand, my life, my essence, and my artistry around.
I love it. I'm a social impact message singer. I love to write about my own experiences and what I see in the world and stuff like that. And, you know, for the longest time, everybody, with all these mass shootings, you know, people would always come to me. They'd be like, you know, it just seems like everybody's numb. So I wrote a song called Numb.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, gun violence and how people just, you know, oh, 1 day, 2 days later, they're just like, they go about their business and it's like nothing ever happened.
Well, it's so crazy because what you're being exposed to is you scroll online and you see somebody teaching you how to make a lasagna recipe. And then you scroll once more and you see a suburban mother and daughter who are the product of, like, nepotism and wealth and riches doing a cute little TikTok dance. And and then, you know, you look at it and you go, why on earth does this have 5 million likes? And then you go, oh, well, everybody's liking it. I guess I should maybe like it too. I don't know. And then you scroll again and then you see a kid crying about his father losing his arm in battle in Ukraine. And then you scroll again and then you're back to somebody trying to sell you a product for some type of new sponge. And so it's like just everybody's being desensitized at hyperspeed. Nobody has that nobody's taking that quietude to go, who am I? Like, what do I want? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I really think and feel about this? Is this genuinely good for me? Because I don't think that people sit there and go, do I, in the depths of my soul, want to like this video of this mom and daughter doing this little dance when it feels like they're trying to sell me themselves as opposed to, like, express joy. You know what I mean? Like, I just think a lot of people are so shut off and people are, like, playing a game and maybe even, like, unconsciously, and that is problematic to me. And so I think that, you know, you writing this song called Numb and me making, you know, the moves that I'm trying to make with my music, I think that it's for all of us who do kind of maybe have our heads pulled out of our butts, is that we need to, like, which is not perfect still, like, we have to continue, you know, maintaining that self-awareness. But for those of us who do have some, higher awareness, I think it is up to us to find ways to intelligently, beckon other people to join us as opposed to trying to, shove it down their throats, because everything all the time is being shoved down everybody's throats. And so you have to find a way to, be inviting while still holding on to your torch of belief,
True.
Which is challenging. It's not easy. It's challenging, but if you can find a community of people who are willing to do it with you, I think that's what will make it easier. Because we're community-driven creatures. We're born out of nomadic tribes that, ventured the world together in search of food. We're not meant to do all of this shit alone. It's not normal.
Exactly. No, that's so very true. Now I'm going to play your song, So Precarious. Tell me what that's about.
So Precarious is about, it's a sarcastic song in which I basically say, my steady, I'm not feeling ready to engage in a committed relationship with these people who want something from me and at the end of the day don't really understand me. But yeah, let's let the rest of the song kind of speak for itself. I'm excited to see what you guys think. And for anybody hearing this song, I wrote this song a few years ago, and it's entirely written and arranged and composed by me. And the reason that I think it's so important to say that is because not very many people, not very many young women are completely self-independent composers and getting the attention and credit that they deserve for it. So shout out to all the badass female composers out there. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's play it.
Look in the
I loved it. I was singing along with it. It's like a funky groove for me. It could get like a funky R&B.
Yeah, it's a very funky song. Yeah. I actually ended up writing that song as a result of this songwriting competition years ago that I was in when I was 19. So we ended up all drawing a phrase or like some words out of a bucket, and I drew the words "so precarious" out of this bucket, and almost instantaneously I just heard dun 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 dun, and I was like, okay, that's fun, that's cool, I'm gonna go home. And then the melody hit me first, and then it was just a matter of figuring out how to get the chords to actually match the melody. And I thought to myself, oh, this melody it's not that complicated, but like it kind of moves a lot. So, you know, obviously the chords need to move a lot with it. Nope, just needs to be 3 chords. Don't change it too much. Like it's just honestly kind of like a blues funk progression, just 1, 4, and 5. Just so yeah, that was a fun song to write.
I love it. You have a great style, that's for sure. Now, have you thought about getting your music into sync and licensing?
Yes, I've definitely thought about that. I've been thinking about that a lot actually recently. And here's the thing, I actually haven't even officially released that song.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to have anything released. Yeah, I think some of those places like it better when some songs are not released.
Right.
It just depends on the library. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot that I could and would know and would do and it would try out. This is kind of why I'm like, I've got this immense catalog ranging from songs that sound like that to songs that sound more like a Jeff Buckley song or something where they're like more emotionally intense and kind of alt rock. So it's like, I could realistically get a lot of my music placed in a total different variety of shows and, commercials and video games and just a whole plethora of things. But, I'm now beginning that journey of figuring out how to do all of that stuff, what all of it means, and instead of, having had that time a couple of years ago. And so all of the wisdom and advice and help I can get, I am diligently trying to take it and be smart with it and see what it is that I can do. That's where I'm at right now.
No, well, what I was going to say to you is 2 things. What I can do is send this week or today or sometime, and I promised it to somebody else, and I can't remember who. I have a list of like sync websites I can send to you, so you can take a look at. And I want to give your name to, because I have a music publisher. Music publishing manager. And so what she does for me, and I can't promise anything, but what she does for me is that she has opportunities because she knows a lot of people in the business. So send me opportunities, and then to say, do you have any music for this? Although she has a lot of my music, she'll ask me if I have something specific. And since your catalog is vast, I think it would be great for her. So I will send your website to her and see what she says.
I mean, the thing is like my website doesn't have that song or really like almost anything out on it because I have like 3 albums worth of material that are like unreleased, but I have like a couple of singles that are out. But yeah, if you wanted to, I could create like a SoundCloud private link where like some of my music like that, that's not even like officially out, that you could like send that to her.
If you could send me some, like, create a SoundCloud playlist of a variety of things. Just not that kind of sound, but whatever you have it doesn't even have to be different. Just whatever you have. Just give a mix, basically.
Yeah.
Whatever
Oh,
you
that's
have. Yeah.
easy.
Easily
done. Easily done.
Now, in the space and time that we're living in, with Roe versus Wade, I want to talk. So let's talk about TikTok for TikTok is so interesting, and I learned so much during my TikTok Cap University. And that's where I learned about all the fact that what they prefer is authenticity and how to brand and how to promote your video, what to say, blah blah blah. Okay. There's a lot of stuff I knew, but there was a lot of things that were very interesting. And so, I promote my music. I like to only play my music when I do videos, because why am I always promoting somebody else? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Right.
But recently, I've been really charged up about this whole Roe versus Wade crap. And it's baffling. Social media baffles me every single day. So I posted this one video, and I'm just pointing at the video so people can take a listen to it. And it's basically this woman that talked about how she couldn't get the medication she needed for her miscarriage because of the Roe versus Wade ban. And that post got 35,000 views. And now, I have up to 2,000 something fans on it. So I get baffled.
Right.
Okay, I share my music, and then I share this. And obviously, the topic of Roe versus Wade is huge right now. It's crucial right now. And I've even had people say, oh my God, you should run for office, this, and that. Anyway, the whole dynamic of social media for artists is this. You're creating music now. Now you don't have to, but most people do, is that you have to think about whether the song you're creating, no matter what genre, what topic, is it going to work for somebody to be used on these social media platforms? So it's a different dynamic than what we used to do back in the day, okay? Now, it's we have to be on all these damn social media platforms. Can they use it? Will it go viral? It's not even about becoming famous, but it's more about getting heard. Do you agree or disagree?
Right. Ask that last question one more time. Do I think that social media is more about getting heard than it is about being famous?
Yeah. Well, in the sense that, back to the radio station, and I'm talking way back in the day before both of us were born. You go into a radio station, you give them a little record, 45 little record, and they say, oh, maybe I'll pay. Maybe I don't know. Right now it's pay to play. And now, because there are all these streaming platforms, the world is inundated with independent artists, which is great. But now we have to fight on these platforms to be seen and heard. Right. And for me, it's not about fame. I just, for me, in regards to my music, I want to be an effective player. I want my music to make a difference. When somebody listens to my music and they say, oh my gosh, this really affected me in a positive way, blah, 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 I love it. That's the joy that I get out of it.
Well, I think that's the point of art.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think, my favorite part of being an artist is the healing aspect that comes with making it and sharing it. I know that it's extremely powerful. Music is the universal language, and so I believe in its capacity for change. We've already witnessed that it can change things, and there's no shortage of issues right now in the world that needs love and attention. And
right.
So it really bugs the shit out of me when people's main drive is selfish, and that all they want out of their art is to be famous. And I'm like, what is your music about? And it's just one boring, redundant, been there, done that love song after another. And I'm like, frankly, I'm not saying anybody is disallowed or should be disabled from, being able to write whatever they want, but it's not necessary. It's not needed. It's not important. Right. And it's saturating. I know that a lot of people are like, it's great that the world is inundated with independent artists.
Yes.
Yeah, but how many of them are like actually artists?
Well, that's a good question.
Right? Like, just because a person strums a guitar doesn't make them an artist, or just because they sing doesn't make them an artist. I've met plenty of people who've never picked up a paintbrush in their life or never played a musical instrument in their life that I would consider artists, because being an artist is the way that you like process the world around you. It's like a lens through which you view the world. Like it's something that you have and that you grow and that you feel. It's like a depth to a person. It's not artistry is the ability to deeply affect and manipulate like some type of medium, whether it's sound or visuals or whatever it is, and then achieve having an inspiring effect on the people around you. Like, I think that if you're not accomplishing that, ultimately at the end of the day, for the greater good, then I think that you're saturating and adding to the noise instead of adding to the point that should be sort of the song of human life. You can add to noise. You can add to like machine, 60 hertz background noise if you want to, and try to make it the forefront. Or you could be a participating voice in the choir of like love and joy and purpose. So it's really up to individuals as to whether or not they do that. But yeah, I think that there's the internet has given real people, with or without money, with or without nepotism, with or without a big city that they're living in or whatever, an opportunity to showcase themselves and to showcase their art. However, I would argue, and this might irritate a lot of people because they think it's all subjective and a matter of opinion, whereas I think that there is some actual measurable, valid truth to this, is that I wouldn't say that the majority of those people are real artists, I wouldn't say that those people are like the Jeff Buckleys or the Stevie Wonders of the world, and I'm not saying you have to be that insanely talented at singing or that insanely talented at playing an instrument, or that you have to be blind to do it. What I'm saying, though, is that you have to be somebody who's in it for the right reasons, and I do not trust a lot of the people that we are seeing dominating the forefront of social media and of TikTok are, in fact, in it for the right reasons.
I agree. Now, what are 3 things you wish you had known, and I think I'll know some of them, before you got into the music industry?
Yeah, I think that I wish I would have known that most, the industry and success is not, does not really, is not really going to be broken by talent, but rather by a strong sense of branding and consistency, and that ultimately dreams are a source for delusion so long as there's not the appropriate action being taken behind them. So going into the music industry, one of those 3 things would be casting my net far and wide and I'm going to do a little bit of gigging.
Right.
I'm going to do a lot of songwriting. I'm going to do a whole lot of posting myself on various social media platforms. I'm going to intentionally read 1 or 2 articles or watch some videos or do my research on artists and their upcoming stories and all that sort of stuff. I just never really cared to, copycat my music after another artist. So I also thought, what's the point in studying their come up story into the industry? But those are 2 totally different things. You can study somebody's business strategy and not sell the same product, And so I would have been doing that. And then I think prioritizing my own, like, health and happiness, like my physical well-being, making sure that I am balancing, while it is very tough and you need to, as a young entrepreneur, like, or as any entrepreneur who's starting something, young maybe more as the business is young. When you're getting it off the ground, I think that you need to understand that, it's going to consume a lot of your time and focus, but it shouldn't consume all of it, because if you let it consume it to the point where you're like, oh, I don't have friends, or I don't have family, or I don't have this, or I don't have, like, the basic things that a person needs to be well, now you're, like, pushing this from the lens of, like, a passion into obsession, and that's where I think you need, like, most people need to kind of draw the line. And then the third thing would be, I think that, and attaching to the second thing, I think everybody should get therapy no matter what, whether you're going into music or not. Like, just get therapy. Just always get therapy. And then the third thing would be very, very careful about what you say yes to and who you say yes to. And, but mostly accept what you have, who you are in the moment, and utilize it to the best of your ability. Do not judge it. Put it out. Like, I could have probably 2 albums out right now that are good, that are very good, but I haven't. Like, that song that you just played, that song has existed in its recorded state for well over a year, and I haven't marketed it or released it. So all of this to say that, like, instead of being a perfectionist and being like, oh, well, the drums could sound better, or the this or the that could sound better, you just need to accept what you have as you have it, when you have it, market that, put it out, and you can always revisit it and make it better in the future if you want to. But if you are sitting on gold for years and years and years and you don't show it to anybody, no one's going to help you grow that gold into platinum or help you grow that gold into actual business, So that would be my 3 pieces of advice. And I think that if anybody listening actually hears everything that I just said and really takes it to heart and actualizes it, you will do very well for yourself.
That's
talent. The last thing I'll say is talent and skill and heart and uniqueness is an eye catcher, and also something that helps people to stay. It helps people to stay for the longevity of your career as longevity as fans, but it is not the same thing as the business. And so you have to understand, all of those 3 things that I was talking about are a little more business oriented. But yeah, don't lose sight of your artistry in the process of building that business either.
Yeah, I agree with all of it. All of it. All of it. Definitely do your due diligence. Because when you start this music business, everybody and their mama comes at you. Oh, I can make you a star. Oh, I can do this for you. Oh, I can do. Read fine print.
Oh yeah.
Read it.
Right.
Don't give any money, because that's a no-no. That's an absolute no-no. Okay. Even if there are a bunch of pro bono attorneys, go to one, find a legal. Do it, because that's one of the things that bothers me the most about the music is the amount of shadiness that there is in the industry. It's just ridiculous. Right. So you definitely have to your back on that. Completely agree with you 100%. Well, Raine, thank you so much for being on Chatting with Nat. I learned a lot. I like that you're outspoken just like me. It's a beautiful thing. We need more people like you who are outspoken. I think a lot of people shy away from
that.
Yeah, a lot of people shy away from that because they're, you're going to lose fans. Who cares? You have to be yourself. And the thing is, when you're your authentic self, more people will gravitate to you. I believe that because more people have gravitated to me. So I 100%. And then you're an awesome musician. Your music is fantastic. Like I said, I'll send you some information on that because I think the world needs to hear more about. Even though you were TV, the world, other people need to know more about you. It's definitely.
Well, thank you. Yeah, besides you and me, so maybe add a third person to the mix.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna follow everything that you do, and if there's any way I can help you, you let me know. You have my email now, so you just let me
Wonderful.
know. All right.
All right. Awesome. I appreciate your help, and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. This is Chatting with Nat, and that was singer-songwriter Raine Stern. She has her website. You see the links there. It's rainestern.wixsite.com. Instagram is Raine Stern. TikTok is Raine Stern. YouTube is Raine Stern Official. Facebook is Raine Stern Music. And if you don't remember that, just Google her. You'll find her because it says the voice and it says Raine Stern. All right? Until next time on Chatting with Nat.
Chatting with Nat is a podcast for independent women seeking to speak their truth and to break down barriers. We host honest conversations that help to guide and empower women. Speak your truth and set yourself free. Let your voice be heard.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.